Yep.
Over the years, there have been several who have come and complained about not being able to have a successful relationship. Whatever relationship they had, it always seemed to fizzle out to nothing. And on several occasions it was said to whoever it was that, this was perfectly understandable, because for those of us on the spiritual path, it's like we've got the mark of God on our forehead, which says that we belong to the divine, and so men can recognize that, and they realize that they can never possess you body, mind and soul. So, don't expect that you'll ever get a long-term relationship. But they're all married now. But they're still spiritual. But do you perhaps remember that story about the great philosopher? He was a great debater, because in the time of Shankara and around that wonderful time in India where philosophy was burgeoning and spirituality at the very deepest levels. And this philosopher, he wasn't born in India because he wasn't a Hindu, but he was of that ilk. He loved to debate about everything. But anyway, he died, and he's up at the pearly gates, and St. Peter is looking up his book and saying, yes, well, I can see that you've been a good man, you've got lists here of good deeds. Well, of course, the philosopher wants to get into a debate with St. Peter about what good deeds are, will you explain to me what good... But of course, St. Peter wasn't getting into any debate, but he just took out a whistle out of his pocket and blew it. And two big burly angels came out, their lustrous wings hiding these huge biceps and muscles underneath. St. Peter just pointed to the philosopher and said, take him in, this one belongs to us. And then there's a strange little story about a group of meatballs that were roasting in the oven. And the meatballs were saying to one another, this is hell. If only there was someone who could get us out of this dreadful... This is... One of them spoke up, said, I can help you. Let me be your leader, and I'll assure you that before very long you'll be resting on a bed of soft rice with a nice cool sauce. Well, immediately all the other meatballs announced him as their leader, said they would follow him, they would listen to his every deed and his every word. And sure enough, a few minutes later the oven opened, and the cook took out the pan of meatballs and laid them gently on a lovely bed of white rice, and poured over succulent tomato sauce. Well, they congratulated their leader. This was just what he'd said that was going to happen to them. But the next thing that happened was a couple of them disappeared. And the other meatballs said, perfidious leader, you have led us into disaster. We had our faith in you, and now look what's happened. And as leader Meatball was being raised to a mouth, he said, well, you see, this is the way of all meatballs. What does that tell us about ourselves?
We're meatheads.
Yeah, that's about it, isn't it? But I'm glad you're laughing and not taking it. Because that's the way it is for us. If you want to get more serious about it, you know, when planets and asteroids and all get into the event horizon of a black hole, that's it. They're doomed. There's no other way to go but to go into that black hole and have every bit of light squeezed out of them. What do they become? That's what we're finding out. It's the life of a meatball. Right? So I have to say. Resolve maybe a little bit more. Do you think a little bit more sophisticated? We could call ourselves resolved. No, I don't think so.
No, meatballs much.
But we do recognize the inevitability of our path, if you can call it that, isn't it? There's no more choices for us anymore. We cannot say, I don't want to go there, or I don't want to do this. It's not possible, is it? Where is the debate that used to go on in our heads? It's not there anymore for the most part, is it? I wonder why. Could it be that in that event horizon, or in the mouth of the black hole, something else is happening? What could it be, I wonder? What is it that happens when we have that final surrender? There's no more argument or debate. We don't need any burly angels to come out and shove us in. But that leads us to another place that we've been working towards over these days, and that is to look at stillness. Because stillness is really a misnomer for where we are. Stillness is what we experience from it. But there's something more to it than that. What is it that's inside that black hole? What happens when we're actually in that? This we have to experience. What is it that's happening for us now? There's no more dialogue, no more resistance. We don't even need surrender anymore. But what is it that happens in this place? We don't have any signposts. Our affirmations, our mantras, our roosts are no longer. Let's see where it takes us.